Welcome to LVT-SHOWBIZ, the place to get the fastest, highest quality, most interesting updates and new perspectives on Chinese entertainment. Thanks for watching LVT-SHOWBIZ. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to stay tuned for more exciting stories from the world of Chinese celebrities. Leave your thoughts.
We need to have a serious conversation because the entire entertainment world has just stopped in its tracks. Imagine sitting down with your morning cup of tea, glancing at your phone, and watching a headline flash across your screen that forces you to do a breathless double take. That is precisely what happened when a brand new, highly anticipated interview dropped featuring two of the most radiant and beloved stars in the entire landscape of Chinese cinema, capturing the hearts of millions across the globe in a matter of seconds. We are talking about the magnetic and effortlessly charming Su Kai, paired alongside the delightfully radiant and fiercely talented Songyun. As someone who has dedicated years to following the twists, turns and emotional roller coasters of the Asian drama universe, I have witnessed my fair share of viral rumors, intense fan-shipping wars and whirlwind media storms. But what unfolded in this specific interview transcends ordinary gossip. It cuts straight to the core of human vulnerability, blurring the lines between scripted television and genuine, real-world emotion in a way we have rarely ever witnessed before. Today we are embarking on a profound, deeply analytical journey into this viral phenomenon, exploring every single subtle micro-expression, every carefully chosen word, and the overwhelming wave of reactions that has sent the internet into an absolute tailspin of wonder, speculation, and heartfelt admiration. To truly understand the magnitude of this moment, we must first cast our minds back and re-examine the fascinating history that surrounds these two brilliant artists. Unlike many classic pairings in the world of television, Su Kai and Songyun do not carry the heavy baggage of a long-standing multi-project on-screen history. They have not spent years trading dialogue across endless historical epics or high-profile romance series, as the primary central couple that fans grew up watching. In fact, when their initial collaborations and promotional campaigns for modern hits first began to circulate, industry traditionalists and certain critical fan circles were initially skeptical, even questioning the viability of their pairing. Yet, human chemistry is an unpredictable elemental force that cannot simply be engineered in a boardroom or written into a script by a director. During their promotional appearances, press conferences, and media rollouts for projects like As Beautiful as You, something extraordinary happened right before our eyes. Their effortless banter, the warm, lingering glances they exchanged away from the main camera focus, and the natural ease with which they carried one another through high-pressure live broadcasts created a wildfire of fan adoration. Their interaction was so electric, so intensely grounded in mutual respect and playful warmth, that it felt less like actors promoting a product and more like a genuine window into a blossoming real-life connection. Official agency statements and standard industry protocols have always maintained a measured distance, politely reminding fans of their separate professional tracks and dedicated career paths. Yet, despite the cautious guardrails put up by management teams, the sheer authenticity of their shared energy continued to burn brightly through every screen, leaving fans yearning for just a little bit more insight into who they are when the cameras finally stop rolling and the heavy studio lights are dimmed. This brings us directly to the focal point of today's deep dive, the viral interview itself, which has fundamentally shifted the narrative and left seasoned analysts grasping for words. As content creators who spend hours dissecting footage frame by frame, we know that actors are absolute masters of media training. They are conditioned to offer polite, perfectly polished, PR-approved responses that protect their image, satisfy their corporate stakeholders, and keep personal boundaries firmly intact. When asked about working with a co-star, the standard script is as predictable as it is safe. They praise each other's professionalism, highlight a strong work ethic, and express mutual gratitude. But on this particular day, something in the atmosphere shifted dramatically. When the conversation naturally veered toward the intangible magic of on-screen chemistry and the emotional realities of forming deep bonds with colleagues, Su Kai did not default to his usual lighthearted deflection or charmingly shy humor. Instead, the physical energy in the room seemed to contract into something remarkably quiet, intensely focused and deeply serious. His posture straightened, his gaze locked steadily forward with an uncharacteristic intensity, and he began to speak about Songyun in a tone that caught everyone off guard, including the seasoned host sitting just inches away from him. He moved far beyond the boundaries of polite professional praise, beginning to articulate a sentiment that felt startlingly personal and intimate. He spoke of her not merely as a talented peer or a capable colleague, but as a uniquely grounding presence who carried a special, irreplaceable weight in his heart. While he playfully nodded toward her character's iconic status as a powerhouse female leader in their drama, the emotional resonance of his words completely outgrew the fictional context. He reflected on her infectious energy, her distinct way of processing the world around her, and the profound comfort she naturally brought to those fortunate enough to share space with her. For anyone who has followed Su Kai's career trajectory closely, this moment was nothing short of revolutionary. He has historically been known as an exceptionally private, reserved individual who frequently uses self-deprecating humor or quiet modesty to steer interviews away from personal vulnerability. Yet here he was entirely unguarded. He was fully locked in, speaking with a level of raw sincerity that made the surrounding production crew fall completely silent. He began detailing minor, endearing habits that only someone who pays exceptionally close attention would ever notice, the specific cadence of her laughter, the charming way she grows slightly shy when overwhelmed by spontaneous praise, and shared memories from behind the scenes that carried an undeniable warmth. It wasn't the detached commentary of a detached co-star analyzing a professional assignment. It sounded entirely like a man reflecting on someone who had left a permanent, beautiful imprint on his daily life. Someone whose absence was deeply felt the moment the director yelled cut. As we delve deeper into the psychological layers of this unprecedented interview, an even more striking revelation emerged that pushed the internet past its breaking point. The conversation touched upon the timeless cinematic paradox of trying to cleanly separate a fictional character from the flesh and blood human being who brings them to life. While Hollywood and the Asian entertainment sphere have long romanticized the concept of actors catching genuine feelings under the high-pressure environment of extended set schedules, Sukai's articulation of this phenomenon felt entirely unique because of its absolute groundedness. He confessed without hesitation that returning to an empty home after an intense day of filming often brought a lingering sense of quiet emptiness, noting that he genuinely missed seeing her familiar face across from him on set. In an industry where personal dating lives are traditionally locked behind impenetrable fortresses of public relations management, hearing an A-list leading man openly admit that certain emotional exchanges required zero acting, implying that the warmth, care, and longing he portrayed were entirely authentic reflections of his internal state, was an earth-shattering moment. When the host gently prodded him about whether he harbored any lingering hesitation or quiet regret regarding the deeply emotional or romantic sequences they shared, his contemplative silence spoke volumes louder than any scripted affirmation ever could. It was a profound pause pregnant with unspoken truths, reminding every viewer that behind the glamorous posters, the red carpets, and the meticulously managed public personas, these artists experience real human attachments, vulnerabilities, and quiet heartaches just like the rest of us. Naturally, the global fan community and digital media analysts wasted zero time connecting the complex dots, triggering a tidal wave of passionate online discourse. For months, quiet whispers, underground forum rumors, and unverified tabloid reports had circulated across social media channels, hinting at secret gatherings, shared moments during overseas travel schedules, and fleeting sightings that kept the shipping community in a constant state of eager anticipation. Until this interview dropped, the vast majority of those stories were rightfully categorized as harmless internet speculation, the kind of imaginative storytelling that accompanies nearly every major television pairing. But this interview fundamentally changed the calculus because it featured an artist speaking directly to the camera, using his own voice, sharing his own unfiltered reflections. Within minutes of the broadcast going live, the primary hashtag dedicated to his heartfelt confession soared straight to the #1 trending spot across major platforms, generating millions of interactive posts, analytical video breakdowns, and beautifully edited romantic tribute compilations. For the millions of devoted supporters who have championed their connection from day one, this felt like the ultimate validation, a monumental victory lap after months of patient waiting. Yet, true media literacy requires us to examine every angle of a complex cultural moment with a balanced, objective perspective, ensuring we appreciate the broader ecosystem in which these stars navigate their demanding professional lives. Stepping back to analyze the flip side of this viral narrative reveals a much more nuanced landscape, one filled with competing theories and alternative explanations that help ground the excitement in reality. In any major entertainment ecosystem, public appearances and emotional statements are frequently scrutinized through the lens of strategic timing and crisis management. Over recent periods, public forums and industry insiders have occasionally whispered about unrelated behind-the-scenes business pressures, minor legal inquiries involving corporate entities, or complex schedule shifts within agency management teams. A subset of critical observers and analytical commentators have naturally floated the hypothesis that highly publicized emotional moments or viral interview highlights can sometimes serve as powerful cultural focal points, drawing public attention away from complex corporate or legal maneuvering, while simultaneously boosting the promotional footprint of an ongoing entertainment project. While there is no concrete evidence to suggest that genuine personal emotions can be completely manufactured for the sake of public distraction, acknowledging these alternative viewpoints provides a well-rounded understanding of why massive celebrity events are often interpreted through multiple, sometimes conflicting, lenses by the general public. Furthermore, we must never underestimate the sheer power of professional craftsmanship. Both Sukai and Songyun are consummate, highly decorated professionals who have spent years mastering the delicate art of emotional delivery, character immersion, and narrative engagement. The undeniable chemistry that captivates audiences on screen is, at its foundational level, a testament to their extraordinary dedication to their craft, their profound respect for one another as fellow artists, and their exceptional ability to make millions of viewers believe in the transformative power of a heartfelt story. Yet, even when we weigh the possibilities of high-level acting talent, promotional hype, and strategic media management against one another, a compelling counter-argument remains stubbornly difficult to dismiss. There is a vast, unbridgeable gulf between an actor delivering a standard, polite compliment about a peer's work ethic and an artist opening up about personal spaces of quiet loneliness, lingering fondness, and the bittersweet difficulty of transitioning back to everyday life after sharing an intense creative journey with a specific individual. You simply do not need to fabricate deep personal sentiment, unless there is an authentic emotional reservoir feeding the expression. This reality has given rise to an entirely new, deeply empathetic faction within the global fanbase. A group that looks past the shipping wars, past the cynical marketing theories, and focuses purely on the emotional well-being of the artists themselves. These fans ask thoughtful, grounded questions. Is the intense pressure of public adoration beginning to blur the delicate boundaries between fiction and reality for these actors? Is it emotionally hazardous to invest so deeply in connections that must ultimately be managed under the unforgiving microscope of global scrutiny? Acting is an intensely intimate profession that requires artists to open their emotional cores on command, a process that frequently carries hidden psychological costs, leaving them vulnerable to deep attachments that can be exceptionally difficult to navigate once the cameras are finally packed away and the production cycle reaches its inevitable conclusion. This brings us to the profound silence from the other half of this compelling equation, Songyun herself. In the wake of this viral confession, her lack of immediate public commentary or formal agency denial has only served to pour gasoline on an already roaring fire of public curiosity. In the fast-paced, high-stakes world of celebrity public relations, silence is rarely interpreted as a neutral stance. Instead, it is endlessly parsed, dissected, and analyzed by millions of eager onlookers. Some optimistic romanticists view her quiet demeanor as a form of silent acceptance or protective grace, suggesting that certain profound personal truths are best left unscripted and unpolluted by corporate denials. Conversely, others point to her well-documented career philosophy, noting that she has consistently prioritized her artistic independence, her relentless dedication to her craft, and her personal autonomy above all else throughout her remarkable journey in the industry. If she has indeed chosen to place her professional growth and personal boundaries at the absolute forefront of her life, then Kai's open-hearted public vulnerability takes on an even more poignant, bittersweet emotional weight. It paints a picture of a man bravely sharing his true feelings on a public stage, fully aware that the recipient of those sentiments may be walking a completely different path, valuing her independence and focusing on her individual artistic horizon. This delicate friction between heartfelt expression and personal autonomy is precisely what elevates this story from a simple celebrity news brief into a deeply compelling human drama, reminding us all of the beautiful, complicated, and often fragile nature of modern relationships under the glaring spotlight of fame. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep and captivating exploration into the heart of the modern Asian entertainment world. If you found this breakdown insightful, engaging, and thought-provoking, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our upcoming deep dives into the lives and stories of your absolute favorite stars. Your continued support allows us to keep bringing you the most thorough, respectful, and engaging entertainment stories every single week. Stay tuned, keep supporting your favorite artists, and we will see you all very soon in the next video.